All right, let's get this working again. All right, welcome back. Once again, we'll try. I think we've got this issue figured out. So once again, we're gonna get Carrie on here. We're gonna talk about health, healthy living, healthy lifestyle, you name it, and we'll get started here as soon as she pops up. But thank you again for coming out on a Wednesday night. It's the favorite night of the week for me. Well, every night of the week lately seems to be the favorite night of the week where I get to do shows. So I appreciate everybody that comes out and watches them. There we go. And we'll get started here in just a second. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday night and enjoyed the cold front for about 2 days before it gets hot again. So, yeah, it's going to get hot. You know, I figured for the fair time it would be colder and rainier, but nope, this is strange happenings here. All right, we're just waiting on Carrie and we'll get started. So, like I said, if there's anything that you want to see for the channel, let me know, and we'll go from there. All right, you accepted, and then just open it up like you're actually watching. So, I don't know why it's not allowing you to. Do you have it fully open and landscape? Sometimes that helps. I don't know. All right, there we go. Now we got. And we are connecting.
There we go. My goodness, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Technology, you know how it goes.
Well, it is all good, right?
It is all good. How are you tonight?
I am well. Just messy, wrestling technological stuff as we speak.
Well, welcome
Goodness.
to the show, and I
Well,
guess you know what this is all about. You've watched a few times, I'm sure. So, but basically, it's just I have so many amazing friends, and I know a lot of amazing people that do things to help people, whether it's what you're doing with health and healthy living, healthy lifestyle, and things like that, or writing books or things like that. And I just want to show up all my friends to friends that don't know my other friends. So. That's a little bit about that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a Choctaw grad like you, and I am a mama of 4 boys that are grown. I have a stepdaughter at home that's 13, who's equal to 4 boys on my own.
Yes.
She's a great kid. No, she's a great kid. I am a cancer survivor. I don't know if you've caught that.
Yeah.
And I just stumbled upon something that has just changed the whole trajectory of my life. I was an HR manager for several years for a large dental practice. Actually worked for the company for 17 years. And so stumbled into this, searching for some answers for my health, and it just lit my fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. So it's been 2.5 years now, and been able to maintain it. And as moms and dads, we often put ourselves at the end of the bus. Everybody gets taken care of first. We get taken care of last. And so even in the beginning, when I was paying for the program, having somebody else coach me, I just thought, where do we get the thought process of I'm not worth it? I've stood at the edge of death. I've looked over. I've thought, I seriously could not be here in 6 months. And yet somewhere in the back of my brain, a few years later, after kicking cancer, thinking my health was very poor because of all the surgeries I'd been through, and just thinking, is it, I don't know if I can afford that for me. And what a shame. We get one we get one body, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and oftentimes we put ourselves at the back of the bus. And so I decided to coach, thinking I can pay for myself to get well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
We
know
don't
exactly
think
what.
anything about going to the doctor and throwing, money at a pharmacist to give us medicine, but we think about those things. So, you know, Dash, I just what I stumbled upon is a passion for helping people in a different way. Doctors get such a privilege of seeing people get well by the actions that they take. And for some crazy reason, I have this resource in my hands that I can physically help walk beside people, partner with them, and help them attain health goals. And it's amazing. I
Yeah,
had actually the pastor that married my husband and I lost 155 pounds.
that's amazing.
When we were standing in the barn getting married, I kept looking at him going, oh my gosh, he's going to have a heart attack. He was sweating profusely. He was pasty white. And now I can look at him and go, he's a healthy individual. And that is such an amazing feeling. And I don't know about you, but if you walk through crowds, the fair is going on in Oklahoma right now. If you walk through those crowds, if I just have came back from conference, walking through the airport, and you see our society, and we are obese.
Yeah.
We are obese. If you look at pictures back from the 50s, you didn't see that. You did not even in the 70s did you see that.
Mhm.
But we, through our poor food products that we have and through um, our obesogenic lifestyle we live, because you go through a drive-through, order something, and get a day's worth of calories in one meal.
In one minute.
And so it's been really cool to walk. But so here's some statistics for you. So 70% of our society today is either obese or overweight.
Oh, yeah.
70%. A few years back I heard 50% of marriages don't last, and I thought, oh, how heartbreaking. That's a lot of people. That's half.
Mm.
70 dash
Mm.
70% of our society. Obesity has now trumped smoking in killing people,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
is the number one killer. And studies show us that even a 10% reduction in our body mass, it lowers our disease risk by 30 to 50%.
Oh, yeah.
And when you really love people and you look at them and you think, my gosh, there's something that's easy and I can help you, and it's such an honor,
Mm.
and such a blessing, because that's a vulnerable place. That's a hard place. It's a hard conversation. Um, and for people to trust you, to let you in that trust realm for their lives is it's very
Do you
humbling.
find that? Do
I'll
you
just say
find that hard for them to trust you though? Uh, I mean, we all. I mean, I work in the health career or the health field. Excuse me, health and wellness field. I'm a trainer. I train people and things like that. Do you find it hard for them to actually trust you right off the bat, though?
no. I think a lot of times they don't trust themselves. The people I've ran, sometimes our company will just assign you to a person
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have anybody. They just heard about a program or something like that. And, that might be a little bit harder, but most of the people that I've come in contact with are in my circle of
Yeah.
people, or my circumference, or doing social media, which felt so incredibly awkward in the beginning. But it is a beautiful thing to have a platform to speak with people and to share your heart, because yeah, there's a song by Matthew West called "What If," and it talks about this. We have this one shot in life, And what if every chapter in my life had those two words in it? What if? And I don't know. I mean, something magical happens when you surpass 40, that you kind of get okay with yourself a little bit, but also the personal growth I've experienced, because this program's not about that I coach. It's not about, hey, you're chubby, get some weight off. It's not that. It's really about contending with what's between our ears and getting that right, because our emotional well-being and how we mismanage our emotions are often what lead us to those dark places, you know? And so it's dealing with that. I love the human spirit and resiliency and things of that nature. And I love to build hope and encourage people. It's just, you know, I was talking to a client one day, and you may have heard this. I did a live on it, but I was talking to him, and I was talking about, you know, we take better care of our cars than we do our own bodies. And before it left my lips, the aha went off in my brain. I would no more go out and pour a cup of sugar in my gas tank of my car. And yet there's so many things that are a disservice to my body that I put into it, and into my mind, into allow into my heart. And so I just, I don't know, I just am changing how I approach life these days, not being so afraid of getting out of my own way, and becoming a person who, you know, I believe that there's so many things that come across our hearts that we think, oh, I should do that for that person. And then we let them pass by. That thought process or the emotion of it wanes or whatever. But I really have started, even in the last couple of years, just being daring to take a moment and use, to be a good steward with the second chapter of my life, you know, because I honestly, I mean, I was almost stage 3 of the cancer I had. And you grapple with those things when you are in those situations. And you know, sometimes you lose. It's like going to a funeral. It smacks you in the head, and then you walk away from it, and you live a few weeks, and the sting's gone. And I don't ever want that beautiful lesson to be lost.
Absolutely.
And in how we live. And so I want to be a good steward with my second chapter. I want others to be a good steward with their second chapter, so that they don't go, you know, on their deathbed. You know, some of the conversations of, what was the last lecture, the book, the last lecture. And he talked about, you know, some of people's biggest things were the regrets, you know, that they had to live with. And so it's just my fire to encourage people to be just 1% better than what they are today, tomorrow, you know. And there was a story I heard one time about a little lady, and she was in a nursing home, and she is back when we had phone books, you know, those things. Okay, for younger people, it's this big book with people's names and phone numbers and their addresses, where they actually live.
They did exist. They did exist.
It was Stalker USA Encyclopedia is what it was. Or if you knew a cute boy and his parents' name, you know, or whatever that went, or a cute girl, right?
Right.
And so she took this phone book. She was in a nursing home, and the attendants noticed that she was flipping through her phone book every day and on her phone all day long. And somebody took the time to ask her, "What are you doing?" And some of you aren't believers, some of you are, but she was saying that I'm calling people to tell them about Jesus. And that inspired me so much, because most people would give up. Most people would say, I'm done, or this is as good as it's ever going to get, or I'm useless and there's no use for me anymore. But that woman was scratching, clawing, fighting the whole way. My grandfather was a survivor of the Bataan Death March, and came away with, not an alcoholic, wasn't abusive. He was just a good man. And he taught our family, so many of my family members, just by example, grit and how we have opportunities. There's so many times he would say, they don't know what bad is. I could show them bad.
Yeah.
I could show them or tell them what bad really is. And so, we can, our problems are only so big when we're looking at ourselves. But when we look at other people, our problems tend to disappear. So that's my goal. That's what I'm after. It's not after I get somebody or do something to somebody. I just want life to be a little bit better for each person I come in contact with, that my impact is felt of goodness and it's left a little dent in the world.
Yeah. I I have to say though, I saw you doing your lives, and I hadn't started Dash of Life yet, but I was watching you do your lives, and I was like, you're inspiring. Just listening to you. You could write a book, and I would sit there and listen to you talk and talk and talk, because it's inspiring every word that you say. And so that was one of the reasons why I started Dash of Life. It's my way. I mean, I have so many veteran friends and so many just civilian friends that, like, they do amazing stuff, but I want to help them. And it was just listening to you and some other friends that do it as well. Just get on there and help people. So thank you. I don't know if anybody's ever told you. I mean, I'm sure they have, but from me to you, thank you so much for
Oh.
for doing what you do, because you do. I don't know. If you're watching the show, ladies and gentlemen, when you watch her lives, they're all inspiring, and they hit you in the heart. They really do. So you need to watch them sometimes, because you know what you're doing, and I appreciate you so much. So, and like I said, if nobody's ever told you that, thank you. I tear up every once in a while. So don't take that the wrong way. But I again, it's inspiring to listen to your stories, and it is amazing to get to help people. It really is. And so I hope you continue to do this for, ever and ever and ever and ever. And I know you have a lot of success stories, but is like you. I mean, I guess the like you said, the pastor that married you losing 150 pounds. That's an amazing story as well. What do you find hard about this though? What is the hardest part for you? Is it somebody giving up? Is it somebody fighting it?
I think, emotional mismanagement, that's a lifelong skill, built or unbuilt, um, in my lifetime, I've been around in close contact, proximity to some emotional mismanagement, and to see the devastation that it wreaks in people's lives, because of, maybe words spoken to them as a child, or maybe just a perception, or maybe somebody didn't just sit down and explain to him, hey, when you stomp and throw a fit, you run people away instead of draw them to you and get your point across. And it's, that emotional intelligence level. And I think that part of it, when you're helping people, finding those vulnerable moments when you can really have that heart conversation, of that balance of pushing people to push themselves a little bit, at the same time knowing that there's wounds, knowing that there's obvious things that are just broken inside of them. Their hearts are, their person's been broken by life, by, gosh, I know life can be hard. As a 20-something-year-old kid, I used to look at people and go, well, I don't know why they have such a problem with that. But you know how we are when we're 20. And we have so many judgments against our parents and all those things, because everybody's not doing it right. And then you live a little life, and I'm going to say this because I've been through some experiences. I'll just say it this way, because I know whose child I am also, and I know that he is good. But I believe with my heart that every hard circumstance we go through is there so that we can understand one another, and so we can look behind us and find someone else who is needing someone to walk in those shoes. Titus tells us that we should take care, the elders should teach and take care of the younger. And in our society, unfortunately, we think we need to move and not have that input. And we have, I'm getting reverb really back, like a recording.
I'm sorry. Probably the dog.
It's okay. If I'm done.
I don't know what's going on. I don't hear. My dog is barking, but I apologize.
It's okay. But, sometimes we allow social media, what we're on, to speak into our lives more than those who, I'm going to turn my volume down because all I'm hearing is myself. There, maybe that'll help. But, I sat with my 92-year-old grandmother a couple weekends ago, and it's like the whole inside of you, that child that grew up and the foundation of who you are, comes alive when someone you've known your whole life speaks your language, your family language, back into your life. And if it's good, that's a blessing, and if it's not good, then hopefully there's someone around you that's walked before you, that's walked in your shoes, that can speak your language. And so, to answer your question, is that the hardest thing? I think that's the hardest thing, is speaking to people where they are, and through those hurts, to help them, and that circles maybe back around to trust a little bit, that you're not going to be that person slamming them, with whatever that pain that rises up inside of them. So maybe that's the hardest, to answer your question, a really long answer, but I think that's probably the hardest thing for me.
Yeah, I think I think it's just for me, when I would talk to clients, it would be to get them to open up, period. I always know when I'm working with certain clients, they don't want to open up about what's bothering them, or why they don't want to work out right away and things like that. And I think that was always the hardest for me. But you kind of, being a cop for 23 years in the Air Force, you learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
And you learn how to read people. And and I think for me, it was once you can kind of read where they're at, and you tell them, it was so much easier. But yeah, it's just so, I mean, I think they're apprehensive, like you said, about, sometimes it being about the cost. I mean, it's easier to roll out to a McDonald's and roll down the window and say, I need this, this, and this, than it is to go to the grocery store and say, I need these greens, I need these vegetables, I need these, whatever the case may be. It is a lot easier. And I wish, I don't know I wish there was ways to combat that a little bit more nowadays. I don't know a way to do it, but you did. I mean, I don't know if you heard me talk. My biggest demon is sugar. It's always been sugar. I'm combating it now and learning to get rid of it, as well as smokeless tobacco. I'm close. But I've had the willpower to do everything else. I tried smoking once, but didn't want it, and I can beat all the other stuff, but for some reason those two vices have really. But I've found my ways to do it, and I just listening to you guys talk, and like I said, you, and then I have my buddy Donnie, who's a train. He's actually training me again to be better at what I am. So it's mentors like you. It's the spiritual mentors like you and Donnie and my other friends that are doing this that make it so much more of a better road trip, if you know what I mean, a better journey, a better path to walk. And I wish more people saw this. I wish more people would get on board. And you're right, with the obesity. And I don't know I just wish we knew how to combat it.
Well, one at a time, right? What Mother Teresa
Yeah, one
says,
at a
if you
time.
want to change the
Absolutely.
world, start at home. One at a time. One at a time. How do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. And it's all good. I think what I've loved so much about this Dash is it's not. I want everybody to be on my team. God, yeah, I'd love to have contact and connect with all my old friends and help them and all that. But one thing that inspires me is that as I'm being daring, as I'm living this out loud, I've had people contact me and say, I didn't call you, I didn't contact you, but I changed my lifestyle. And I've done this. And because of listening to you, I've made these different changes in my life. And I'm actually down so many pounds. Or I've seen people that talk to me and then they made a decision to go hit Orange Theory or someplace like that. And that to me, that's a
That's
win.
a win.
I don't, it's not about, what? I believe that if I'm faithful with people, God will bring the people that need me across my path.
Absolutely.
But what I do celebrate is that the fact, Dash, that the longer I do this, the more people I come in contact with, that there's some difference being made from the ripple effect. And we combat so much here in our heads when we go to do something like this. I know, I'm sure you've come across this, where you worry about what people think, you worry about what they're going to say, you worry about this, you worry about that. And you know what? People aren't thinking about you, Dash. They're just watching your show, or they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the people that need to hear you are hearing you. The people that you are brightening their day, you're doing it. And so I applaud you for, we can get, set in our ways and dug in and never change and never grow, or we can continue to grow. What I love is getting in this community that I'm in with this program is always growing, always finding something else to challenge your brain to grow. And studies show us that the brain can always grow. It's the only organ that can always grow, which is exciting me. I get a little nerdy when it comes to how the body works and things like that. I had, just, it amazes me, that we are fine-tuned, incredible machines if we'll take care of them. And it'll take care of us, But I had a lady, 85, 7-year-old lady in the hair place Monday giving me a lecture about, if you'll get out, even if your feet ache and hurt, don't listen to them. Just get out and walk. I mean, she was giving me a lecture and I didn't know her from Adam. But I was like, you preach, sister, you preach.
Keep
Move that body.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, and I want to thank you for coming on tonight. I gotta cut it short, but I would love to have you back again if you wouldn't mind.
Oh,
Would you?
sure.
Would you? Sure, awesome, great, ladies and gentlemen. This was Carrie. What a wonderful person she is. If you are friends with her, listen to her lives. They're amazing, inspirational, and I tell this to everybody I talk to for the most part. Write a book. Oh my gosh, if you write a book, you're amazing. And I've probably said that like way too many times, but you are amazing. So maybe you should write a book and just share your wealth of knowledge, because it would be wonderful. And I know I would share that with everybody.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So, well, thank you.
Thank you. I'm just so honored. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for accepting it. When you said yes, I was like, all right. So, but thank you so much. We'll get together again. Have a wonderful night. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep touching the lives that you're touching, helping the people that you're helping. And I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Carrie. What a wonderful show tonight. She's, again, like I said, she's an amazing woman. She's helped so many people. She's good at helping people. So listen to her, watch her lives. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And remember what I tell you every week: take care of one another, love one another, and I'll see you next show. Bye-bye.